Let's start the story round the time I moved house, when I couldn't pay rent and I moved to my parents. Not too proud, but if the truth's out, I'll admit it was a personal blow. It meant I failed my first attempt to make music turn into dough. And all I've ever wanted was to be a musician, so I had to do what I had to do to bring that dream to fruition. So it's one step back in the hope I'll take two forward. But when your girlfriend stays in your old bedroom, it's awkward. But she wasn't bothered by it. Well, she probably was, to be fair, but she still stopped the night. And I remember how my swallowed pride wouldn't digest the first time the two of us struggled to fit in my bed, and how the mattress creaked and we had to sleep without sex, and my arm went dead when I left it underneath her neck. In a pool of sweat with no room to stretch, we walked with our muscles cramped. We complained then, but now I think I understand. Yes, I can see a silver lining underneath the quilt we lying. I just worked it all out. It feels like we're nose diving, but every tragedy's a triumph if we turn it around. 'Cause it's only a bad thing if we forget that we wouldn't be as close if it weren't for this single bed. And soon enough she moved from up north to London, and we found ourselves talking about how we thought we'd function if she moved to the city and I stayed in the sticks. But we decided we'd try a long distance relationship. So we said our goodbyes and she bought a one-way ticket, and I promised the second that I could that I would make the trip. She got a job but she struggled 'cause the hours were so hard. I couldn't be there, but I sent her down flowers and a card. Out of frustration, she said that was a shit consolation, and then we argued about having respect and patience. But makeups over the phone are never complete. So in the morning I booked a mega bus seat, and when we met up she led me to her flat and said it's small. The bed goes wall to wall, but it's all I can afford. I walked in and saw my good luck card up on a window ledge, a little desk with flowers and a single bed. And I can see a silver lining underneath the quilt we lie, and I just worked it all out. Feels like we're nose diving, but every tragedy's a triumph if we turn it around. 'Cause it's only a bad thing if we forget, that we wouldn't be as close if it weren't for this single bed. Then we fell apart last summer. We couldn't take the pressure we were under, I guess. Oh, our hearts had suffered, but there's only so far one cover can stretch. So now we lie alone in bed of our own. Let's end the story in the same way it began. Moving out, but this time I've a little saved in my bank. I can get by on my own. I'm in a flat living well with a brand new king-size bed that I have to myself, and I can stretch, yeah, and I can sprawl, yeah, and I can, well, that's about all. See, I'll probably just sleep next to the wall and keep my phone charged on the off chance she should happen to call. There was beauty in our struggle, silver linings in our storm. Sometimes I sit and wonder if lightning could strike once more, or was it a time in our life when we both needed support and we provided shelter for each other when it poured. Circumstances made us close, adversity made us strong. They said it was hard lines, we wrote them lines into our song. I wish I could have given more, but to be honest, with that said, we never would have been as close if it weren't for my single bed. And I sing, I can see a silver lining underneath the quilt we lie, and I just worked this all out. It feels like we're nose diving, but every tragedy's a triumph if we turn it around. 'Cause it's only a bad thing if we forget, we'd never be as close if it weren't for my single bed. And I really loved her, that's why I treat her right. And I really loved her, every day and every night we were together, with a roof right over our heads, and we shared the shelter of my single bed. I said we'd never be as close if it weren't for my single bed.